Welcome into the Football Night Lights podcast. We're your host, Jesse.
I'm Tyler.
And today we've got a fully packed episode for y'all. We're going to be talking about the NFL free agency a lot, kind of going through like position by position, giving our thoughts to like the team signings, trades, what have you. So yeah, man, a lot in store today. I think we'll start with QBs. You want to start with Josh Allen?
Yeah, let's kind of get it going. So, a lot has happened in the last 2 weeks, especially since free agency's been going on for a little over a week and a half now. Josh Allen finally got his big extension, 6 years. He's looking at $330 million over those 6 years. With that, he's gonna average about 55 per year. And I mean, honestly, that's pretty good deal for him. I think he's an incredible athlete. I mean, Buffalo can't seem to win. Right now, it seems like when the spotlight's at its brightest. Can't seem to get past Patrick Mahomes. Multiple years now. They're the reasons that they've been going home, and definitely the reason they didn't make it to the Super Bowl, which maybe 1 year. With that, though, I mean, you're looking at another QB that's in the hot seat right now for getting an extension, Brock Purdy. I think with this deal, it is definitely going to favor the 49ers drastically. You and I have had conversations. We both don't think Brock Purdy is nearly as explosive. He does not have as big of an arm. Doesn't have the speed. He's not at that level as Josh Allen yet. So he is definitely not going. I don't think he's going to get a contract higher than like 45 to 48 million at most.
Yeah.
Like a year.
Yeah.
Do I think he is a starting quarterback? Yes. I think that he's proved not only everyone who passed up on him in the draft wrong, but last season he was the number one in go routes and accuracy. I mean, that's for QB who's only 3 years in, didn't even play a full season. I mean, I think he has the potential to be up there in the same conversation as Josh Allen, as Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes. Like, I think he has that potential. He's just not there yet.
Right.
I mean, Brock Purdy can make the argument, well, look at Dak Prescott, $60 million a year. You can make the argument, well, what about, Trevor Lawrence? I'm pretty sure he's making over, at the time, that would be a pretty comparable deal to what Josh Allen is now. It's just the market's changed. So, like, obviously you have a higher cap space. You have a lot more revenue coming in for the teams. But if you look at those quarterbacks I just named, huge busts for what they're paying him. I mean, Dak is never... Personally, I don't think Dak is ever going to make a Super Bowl appearance.
And I don't ever think he's made it to the championship. The
NFC? No. The Niners have been the reason they've gone home in the playoffs.
Right.
I just don't. I mean, with the way Jerry Jones is running that organization right now, I do not see a Super Bowl contending team anywhere in the near future if they continue this road.
I mean, let's just be real. It's Jerry Jones's way or the highway. I mean, that's how it's always been. That's how it always will be as long as he's in the building.
Yeah, that team just needs to get sold. There's nothing that he can change at this point that will make them a Super Bowl contending team. So he honestly just needs to go. I mean, they've gone through coordinators, they've gone through
Head coaches, yeah.
Well, they've had McCarthy, right? McCarthy.
Yeah. Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, they've had him for quite a while. So I mean, it's like the coordinator. I mean, Micah Parsons, phenomenal athlete. I mean, from an interview that I had watched where he was on it. I mean, they went through so many different play styles and the different defensive coordinators. It's like he's had to change his game.
You need consistency.
Yeah,
you need consistency with your coordinator.
It's
so important.
I don't think you can say, well, Dak Prescott's making $60 million. I mean, yeah, he's a worse quarterback than Brock Purdy is. I mean, but if you go that route, you're just going to be in the same boat as them. You're going to be in the same boat as when Joe Burrow got his extension. You know, he signed this big extension right after coming off of a Super Bowl appearance, and they have yet to make it back.
Well, and you have to think here, San Francisco has a much better organization than the Cowboys do. Brock Purdy has
and I understand that.
Yeah.
But you also have to factor in the Niners have a lot of vets on their team, a lot of players in their prime.
They do.
They really need to keep those guys around. If they're gonna want to win now, if you're not in the mindset to win right now, like rebuild, whatever, do what you're doing. Kind of sounds like that's the route they're going right now. I mean, but I mean, John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, they're not dumb.
No.
I don't think I mean, right now it looks like they're the dumbest people in the NFL. But they obviously are cooking something up. They obviously have a lot of faith in their squad. But again, I just don't see Brock Purdy getting that $55+ million extension that all these analytics are like, he's going to get that. Like, I just don't see that happening, especially with their financial situation going on right now.
Yeah, they have a lot of dead weight on their cap right now.
$77 million in dead money. It's crazy. The number one team in dead money.
Yeah.
Wasteful.
And you have to think with like Brock Purdy, just because that's the going rate, $55-60 million for a starting quarterback, doesn't mean that's what Brock Purdy deserves. Yeah, he's a better quarterback than Dak Prescott, but how much is that being in Kyle Shanahan's system, being surrounded by excellent talent? Now, this is coming from an Eagles fan. As an Eagles fan, like, I have to give respect to Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch. They know how to build a team, but I still don't think Brock Purdy is worth that much.
No, 100%. Definitely not it.
And here's the thing, like Brock Purdy regressed last year. He took a huge step back from the year that he did prior.
Yeah. But you also got to think he also stepped up in other ways. I mean, again, number one accuracy and go routes. He started running the ball a little more. But I mean, you could call it a regression. You could call it he improved in other ways. The bottom line is the Niners. I mean, I'm just gonna say they suffered the Madden curse times like 50. You had Christian McCaffrey on cover of Madden, which great for him, coming off a fantastic season, especially since given his history. I mean, huge injury prone player. I mean, I don't think he's ever finished a full season in Carolina. I mean, if he did, it was like once or twice.
Yeah. That was in large part due to the fact that he was their offense.
He was. And I mean, Carolina didn't really have like the greatest, rush blocking. They didn't have the greatest pass blocking. I mean, so yeah, when you're the only player that's kind of, I mean, that definitely takes a toll on your body. I mean, I could never imagine doing the workload he was doing, you know, and like running the ball. Like, I mean, I played wide receiver. I was not built to be a running back. So he did it extremely well. I mean, in the 2023-2024 season, you know, when they made the Super Bowl appearance, but last season, I mean, you just suffered so much injuries. Almost your entire starting defense injured. You had Brandon Ayuk, who, you know, I think got injured because he missed out on, you know, the training camps and, you know, those mandatory things because he was wanting that bag. You know, it's not that he showed that he earned that or deserved that $30 million a year after, you know, playing like half the season and then could be out quite a few weeks beginning of this next season. And then you got Debo was in and out. I mean, Juwan Jennings stepped up.
Yeah, he did.
Ricky, he got shot. So he was out pretty much until late half or late in the season. It was more towards the second half of the season that he came back.
George Kittle was out too.
No, I think he played for the majority of the season.
Really?
So, I mean, they had him. I mean, he's beast of a player. Top 3 easily tight end in the league right now. Yeah, I mean, you could call it a regression. You could call it he just didn't have any pieces. I mean,
So what would you rather the 49ers do?
I say you pay him less. You bring in players. You bring in players that have experience to help boost these rookies and like newer end players, like players that are still only in their second, third year of the NFL. You can't just spend all your money on one player. I mean, going back to referencing the Bengals, they just extended Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Yeah. You have 44% of this year's salary cap spent on 3 players. You cannot build a Super Bowl contending team when you spend 44% of 1 year's salary cap on 3 players. I don't care how good those 3 players are. They are not going to be the only factor to winning that Super Bowl. Right. You got to have a good line to block.
You got to have a good defense.
You got to have a good defense, which
defense wins championships.
The Bengals defense is what lost them all those games. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins putting up numbers. Sure, Joe Burrow can easily get the ball off quick.
Yeah.
But that defense screwed them in the end. I mean, when Joe Burrow's putting up 3-4 touchdowns a game, I mean that's what he averaged was three touchdowns a game. Like that's some pretty big numbers for a QB to average per game. Plus you have I believe they had Chase Brown as the running back.
Yeah, something like that. Chase Edmonds?
No. He hasn't been in the league very terribly long, but my point is he was putting up rushing touchdowns too. Sure. But I mean your defense has to step up.
It does, and we might come back and circle back to the Bengals, but going back to Purdy, if you don't mind, what would you rather see? Do you feel like you would overpay Purdy when a deal has to get done, or would you rather maybe sign him to a friendly contract, trade him if you can, and then kind of rebuild?
Look, if it comes down to it, you sign him on the friendlier deal. If he's saying, "Oh, I'm gonna walk," let him walk.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, he may end up on a team teams that need quarterbacks right now, Giants, Steelers, they're just kind of playing it by ear, it sounds like right now for a quarterback.
Right.
But I just don't see him being worth that much money, and then now you're putting a franchise in a position where they're not going to be a Super Bowl contender. You'd be lucky if they were a wild card contender.
Yeah. And then see, that's exactly what the Bengals did. They were desperate.
And that's the thing. You can't be desperate. Like you gotta be in a mindset to win, and going all in on one player is not in a mindset to win. That's just, you found a guy who's been working really well for you, and you just want to put all your faith in him. Like, there's other guys that are gonna be like that would be willing to do it for a lot less.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy, he's probably doesn't want to leave the Niners because they were the only ones who believed in him at the very end of the draft. Not saying that he wouldn't have gotten a free agency deal.
Yeah.
But they obviously were like, let's take the risk on him, and it paid off for them, you know. Brock Purdy went 8-0 his rookie year when he became the starting quarterback, took him to the conference championship, lost to the Eagles, and what I would probably say was a horrible game.
Mm-hmm.
I remember
that game. Yeah.
I'm not saying that the Eagles, were a bad team. I'm just saying, like, overall that game was bad.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
Well, didn't in that game Purdy hyperextend his elbow or something like that?
Yeah, and then they had their backup quarterback come in. Mind you, Brock Purdy was already their third quarterback.
Yeah.
Trey Lance got injured game 2. Mm-hmm. Garoppolo got injured. Brock Purdy being their third quarterback, and then you have their backup to Brock Purdy at that point get a concussion.
Yeah.
That game. I think Brock Purdy may not walk from the team, but I can guarantee you him and his agent are going to fight for close to $50 million. I guarantee it. And I honestly hope so that way, the Niners can still stay a Super Bowl contending team. I hope he takes, 40 that 45 to 48 range.
Yeah.
Like, I think to be a successful franchise, that's what it's going to take.
Yeah.
You signed their defensive coordinator again, but the defense is only going to stop so much. They're going to get tired.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're going to be on the field the majority of the time, because all you have is 1, 2, 3 key players, but you didn't have enough money to build up your line. You didn't have enough money to find replacement receivers for when those who are injured, at what point does reality kick in for both sides, so that way he gets the deal he wants and the Niners can still have him as their starting quarterback.
I thought I read something that NFL team can't have their starting QB take up 15 or more % of their cap space. And I hope that Brock Purdy realizes that he's in the best position to win in San Fran. He has Kyle Shanahan as his
head
coach. He's an offensive guru. He knows to get the best out of QBs as well as
really any position.
Any position, really.
Yeah.
And so I think when it comes down to it, I think Brock Purdy might take that friendlier deal. I think he realizes that that's the situation that he needs to be in, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. Kind of moving along though. Yeah. Speaking of Fortnite, they are going to have Mac Jones back up Brock Purdy. He's taking A $7 million deal, 5 of it guaranteed for the next 2 seasons. And has the potential to earn up to $11.5 million of those 2 seasons. Really, that just comes down to how much playing time he gets, how much he has to cover for Brock Purdy. If Brock Purdy gets injured and he has to become the starting quarterback, that's kind of where that additional money is going to come from, or it will take into play.
And what are your thoughts on that signing?
Let's just say he's. I don't know. He didn't have a great career in
New England, right?
In New England. I mean, yeah, he was under Bill Belichick, who I think is probably one of the greatest NFL coaches. I mean, he led the Patriots to 7 Super Bowls. More, but they only won about 7 or no 6 because Tom Brady has 7 rings.
Yeah, he has 1 with the Bucs,
and that's because he has 1 with the Bucs. So 6 Super Bowl. I mean, he's been to more than that.
Yeah.
Obviously, they didn't win every single Super Bowl, and I don't know, man. I don't think he was really starting quarterback quality while he was playing for them.
And do you think that's more of his skill set alone? Do you think that was the pieces around him that?
I honestly think it may a lot of it has to do with the fact that once Brady left, that team was trash.
Right.
I mean, let's be real. Tom Brady carried that team. He wasn't the most athletic quarterback. He wasn't, but I mean, he knew football in and out. Like, his knowledge for the game was insane, and he was one of those players that would take the friendlier deal to build a Super Bowl contending team around him. Like, he wasn't selfish when it came to the money. Like, he's a smart person. I mean, he's worth $1 billion now, a couple $1 billion, because he knew that though he was taking less money, he knew how to capitalize with the money he had and put it into opportunities and stuff like that. I mean, but yeah, Mac Jones didn't have the line Brady did. He didn't have the weapons that Brady did.
Yeah.
The defense was not as good as it was when it was those Super Bowl contending teams. It's just
if you don't mind, when Tom Brady left, I think Bill Belichick's flaws were exposed in leading that organization. I mean, I remember reading that Bill Belichick hired a defensive coordinator for their offensive coordinator position, and so if you're gonna do that, I mean, what results are you expecting? And Bill Belichick's a very stubborn guy. He wants it his way or the highway, and I get that.
Yeah,
but if you're going to have a starting quarterback like Mac Jones, you draft him, you got to put the right pieces around him.
Exactly.
You got to put him in the right system to win.
Here's my thing with starting a rookie quarterback. These guys have not been playing nearly as many years of football as a lot of these players in the NFL, obviously, because they were in school and these guys have more, they've been in the league longer, they know a lot more. They've had a lot more training, professional training, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's smart to put a quarterback that you believe, especially if you draft in the first round. I mean, Vikings were smart. They didn't. I mean, they let J.J. McCarthy.
Well, he was injured.
I know a lot of that had to do with that, but they didn't even plan to have him be the starting quarterback. And then, you kind of get lucky with Sam Darnold balling out, and it gave him J.J. McCarthy an opportunity to learn a little bit more, get a little bit more confident, so that way this coming season he can be their guy. I do not think you draft these rookie quarterbacks that are supposed to be your next guy, and then you just watch him crash and burn. And then, I mean, look at Justin Fields. It's not his fault that the Bears sucked.
Marcus Mariota.
It's not his fault the Titans sucked. I mean, you could even claim Jameis Winston.
Jameis Winston, yep.
It's not his fault. I mean, actually, it kind of was because he needed LASIK and whatever. But I mean, if you look at them now, yeah, they may not be starting quarterbacks anymore. But if you gave them those opportunities to learn from someone who, you know, had those, like, had the you know, the experience already in the NFL.
Yeah.
I feel like they would have had better careers, but it's also a different game now than it was when those guys got drafted.
Yeah. Take Lamar Jackson for instance. I don't believe he started right away. I think Joe Flacco was.
And I think you're right
because starting QB.
Because Joe Flacco was still balling out.
He was. And he was a veteran that Lamar learned from.
Exactly, and look at Lamar now. Look at Aaron Rodgers. He was behind Brett Favre.
Yeah.
And then he had great seasons in Green Bay. And yeah, Jordan Love. He sat a couple years behind Aaron Rodgers, and now he's their guy. I just don't think it's smart for these teams to put all their hope in these quarterbacks that they're going to draft. And then, you know, they get young, they get these, like, Tua, for instance, he's one concussion away from having the worst CTE known to man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he really needs to, like, reevaluate whether football should be his end game.
Yeah, we can maybe talk about CTE on another podcast, but I totally agree. Like,
I
threw him in the fire, threw him with the Sharks.
These guys need a little bit of development time. Like, it's a totally different game when you go from college to NFL. There's a lot of different rule changes. Yes, you could say, well, there's a lot more rules protecting the quarterback, but if they start running, they're fair game.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
they're gonna get hit.
They're gonna get hit. They're gonna put themselves in situations where they could get pretty severely injured.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned Sam Darnold a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
He also got a deal. What's your take on that?
Honestly, I think Seattle's pretty stupid. I mean, great for Sam Darnold. I think he had a phenomenal year.
Mm-hmm.
He did not end maybe the way he wanted it to, with costing 80 yards in sacks.
Yeah.
But, I mean, great for him. Seattle's going from a mid quarterback to probably a just as mid quarterback, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, Seattle's probably the dumbest, not the dumbest. I mean, you can't beat how dumb the Cowboys are being with not even doing anything right now. But I mean, you release Tyler Lockett. You let DK Metcalf get traded to the Steelers. And all you bring in is Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
Another one of those guys that has not been the same since they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, even like I don't see Cooper Kupp ever being the player he once was. He's getting up there in years. I still think he's a decent player. I mean, he's a great replacement for Tyler Lockett. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's great that Seattle still has Jackson Smith, but I really don't know what their plans are.
I think Seattle is hoping that they get good Sam Darnold, not the ugly Sam Darnold that you saw late in the season last.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
I think what they should have done.
But you also got to think. I mean, don't mean to cut you off here, but like, Sam Darnold had players like
Justin Jefferson.
Jefferson. He had, I mean, you can't say he had Tyler Hawkinson because he was injured the majority of the season. But I mean, he had a lot of talent that Seattle just doesn't have.
They don't have it anymore.
Especially anymore. Yeah.
What they should have done is they should have signed, a mid-level quarterback for a reasonably friendly deal.
Well, they still had Sam Howell. I mean, he was the starting quarterback up until Jaden Daniels came along for the Commanders.
Yeah, why not just let him?
He was pretty okay.
Yeah, why not let him lead the team and tank and get draft picks and build your wait for next year's draft class. QB, right?
I don't see Seattle. Like, I don't see what Seattle's trying to get out of it. Like, I don't see what their plans are.
It's just kind of like a piecemeal, and they're hoping for the best, right?
Yeah, I mean, but you can say the same thing with the 49ers. They just let 9 or so-ish players just walk.
Yeah.
I mean, I know a lot of it has to do with they don't have the money. That's why it's like now you have 11 draft picks. You kind of hope Purdy's going to take a friendlier end deal, kind of build from there. But I mean, it's I don't know. I don't see. And then you got Geno Smith going to the Raiders. And all the Seahawks got out of that was some 3rd round picks. 3rd rounders could be good.
Yeah.
I
mean, who knows?
I think that's
draft the next Russell Wilson, right? It wasn't Russell Wilson the 3rd round draft pick.
I mean, I wouldn't want to draft the next Russell Wilson. His career just kind of went downhill.
Well, in his prime.
Yeah.
Pretty damn good.
Yeah, I will give it. I will give him that. I don't know. Kind of staying on that. The Seattle topic, with DK Metcalf going to the Steelers.
Yep.
They got a 2nd round pick for this year. So I mean that's 4 draft picks off 2 players, or sorry, 3 draft picks, yeah, for this coming year. And as long as the Steelers can, get a decent quarterback. I mean, if they
sounds like Aaron Rodgers is the guy right now.
If they sign Aaron Rodgers, if they re-sign Russell Wilson, I'm sorry, you're not making a deep playoff run.
No.
Neither of those guys got it anymore. I mean, I'd take Russell Wilson over Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
But
he's younger, he's more mobile. At this stage.
Yeah, he's not.
If we're comparing the two.
He's not as fragile.
No.
I don't see either of them being a great enough.
Well, whoever ends up being the starting QB in Pittsburgh, they're gonna have some decent weapons to throw to. George Pickens and DK Metcalf.
And you still have Freemuth.
You have Freemuth. That's right. They did lose their starting running back, which we'll touch on in just a little bit.
And then you got Devontae Adams going to replace Cooper Kupp with the Rams. Him with Puka. I mean, they extended Matthew Stafford, I believe, only for 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
Which is fine. That gives them pretty much. They can either draft a QB later in the draft. They can draft one next season. I mean, I don't see Devontae Adams going to the Rams as either like an even or like I honestly see it as a slight upgrade. Devontae Adams isn't as severe injury prone as Cooper Kupp has become recently.
Yeah.
Especially since Devontae Adams isn't going to be their number 1 guy. That's Puka.
It's Puka, yeah. And
Puka has shown that he is the number 1 guy.
Yeah, Devontae Adams, he doesn't need to be the number 1 guy, but also he can serve as a mentor for
100%.
Like Puka, Jordan Whittington, Xavier Smith, Drake Stoops.
100%.
So he provides some great value. It's a short-term contract. He's not going to be there long.
No.
It's just like, hey, get your money.
Yeah.
ball out a little bit.
The only downside is he's on a team again with Jimmy Garoppolo, and that's the reason he wanted out of Las Vegas.
Well, they're gonna have to squash that. So.
Well, you also got to think, Jimmy Garoppolo is not the starting quarterback like he was for the Raiders.
Yeah.
So, we've already kind of gone over the Bengals. Ja'Marr Chase, T. Higgins. It blows my mind. 44% of the salary
You're
cap.
putting all your a lot.
Don't get me wrong; these guys are phenomenal
basketball,
players, but like,
Yeah.
44%.
How do you expect to build your team if 44% of your salary cap is going to 3 players?
That's almost half your salary on not even a third of the team. I mean, you have 11 guys on both sides of the ball. You have a 53-man roster. Plus, you got to pay, practice guys. Like, that comes out of their salary cap.
But anyway, like those 3 guys, you have to realize that wide receivers, although I'm a big fan of Ja'Marr Chase and T. Higgins, they were great, but wide receivers, like running backs, are a dime a dozen.
Yeah.
They're a dime a dozen.
You could be the best receiver in the league, but who's to say the next guy isn't just as talented with the right squad?
Yeah, and you can find these guys surprisingly in the 5th or 6th round, and they'll be like just absolute ballers, right? They don't have to be first round picks.
No,
you can find talent.
Debo wasn't a first round pick.
No, he wasn't.
And
Brandon
Ayuk
wasn't either. I mean, I think he was
a second. Brandon Ayuk may have been a first round.
Oh, really?
I think he may have been a first round.
Okay.
Well,
regardless, our points still stand.
Yeah.
You can find.
You can find anywhere. And then let's kind of get into the running back. Kind of cutting it close here. Kyle Juszczyk was released, resigns, a little bit more friendlier deal. He gets to stay with the Niners.
Does he have a bigger role this year, you think?
Oh,
Jordan Mason leaving to the Vikings. Do you think he gets more touches this year?
Here's the thing. I mean, no, because 2 different positions. Fullback does not run the ball nearly as much. His position really is just more of like a glorified lineman, right? He's going to block for, the running back. He's going to be more of a blocker when it comes to a screen pass.
You're telling me that Kyle Juszczyk can't run the ball? They just put.
No, he can run the ball, but the way that the Niners run their offense, he doesn't need to run the ball. You have Christian McCaffrey coming back. Apparently, he's 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Isaac Guerrero stepped up when Jordan Mason was out.
Yeah.
So if anything, he's going to get more touches as far as the run game than I think Kyle Juszczyk will. Now, I do think Kyle Juszczyk will still have a stellar season, but that's also, I think he's going to become more of a backup tight end kind of situation.
Yeah, utility tool kind of guy.
Yeah.
Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, and then biggest running back free agency news that I've seen is just the Najee Harris.
Yeah, him going to the Chargers.
Him going to the Chargers. Definitely much needed help for them. I honestly think the Chargers are going to be a mid to deep playoff run team either this season or next season, 100%. Especially since they just got Tyler Conklin too.
Yeah.
Live McConkey balled out.
They do have Mike Williams now.
They brought back Mike Williams. Mm-hmm. They brought back Keenan Allen.
Bring Keenan Allen.
No, they brought him back.
I thought he was rumored to go to the Raiders.
No,
just 11 hours ago.
They signed him.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I sent you that. You obviously don't pay attention to anything I send you. Another thing that's kind of interesting is the Bears. I mean, one of their biggest problems is they've never had a solid enough line
Mm-hmm.
to protect the QB, and that's a huge factor as to why Justin Fields didn't really work out in Chicago. But they have all this faith in Caleb Williams, and they're signing all these top tier linemen.
I think it's a smart move.
It is. I mean, if you're gonna put faith in a young quarterback, you also gotta beef up your line. And it's a good thing. Like right now, Caleb Williams they don't have to worry about paying him this season.
Nope.
Not
for another couple of years, they don't.
Yeah, I mean, after next season is when they can start extension talks.
Yeah.
So, or sorry, not this coming season, but the season after. So, I mean, 2 more years that he's on this rookie deal, that they're going to save them tons of money.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, though I may not respect Caleb Williams in any way, shape, or form, I can respect that the Bears have finally realized where their major flaws are, and they're starting to address them. Now, you have, DJ Moore still, you have Rome Odunze,
Yeah.
but you lost a veteran in Keenan Allen. So they're going to have to fill that void, it's only going to be a wide receiver 3 position, because, Rome Odunze showed that he can easily be a wide receiver 2. DJ Moore is a stellar player.
Or do you think they go after a star running back in the draft? Yeah, I know you talked.
Well, they still have DeAndre Swift.
Okay, but is he their go-to number 1 back for the long term? They could go and get a guy like Ashton Jeanty.
I don't see them. I honestly, Ashton Jeanty will more than likely end up on the Raiders, with that 6th pick. I don't think that them drafting a running back in the 1st round is where I think they'll go. But I do. DeAndre Swift probably. He's not. He had some great seasons with the Lions. He had some great seasons with, the Eagles. But I don't know. I do see your point. It's probably coming up on time to move on from him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see them using their 1st round, maybe even their 2nd round pick on a running back. I think they'll probably try and get some defensive players, maybe build up their defensive line, maybe draft a solid offensive line player.
Yeah.
So that way, when these guys that they're signing are move on from, because they can't afford them, or what would it be, they just retire or something like that. Offensive line takes a huge toll on their bodies. They tend to be they retire a little bit sooner than most players. I don't know. I don't see them drafting a running back within the first couple rounds. But I definitely do respect the fact that they see where their flaws are, and they're fixing them. It's important. You can't be a successful team if your line sucks. That's why the Bears have not made a playoff run in years. They've just sucked. That's why they've always had a top 3 pick.
Yeah.
Because they suck.
Good for them building around Caleb Williams. I myself, I'm not a Caleb Williams fan, but I know what it takes to build a good offense, and it starts at the offensive line. Your quarterback is only as good as your offensive line. If you can't give your quarterback time, you're not going to have a squad. It's
going to be interesting to see how that benefits them. Huge news though, with the Niners, they dropped a bunch of players. Huge congrats to these teams that picked these guys up, but Charvarius Ward.
Yep. Moving on to DBs. Yep.
We knew this was coming. We know why this was coming. Hate to see him go, but after what he's been through, I understand why he needed out. It had nothing to do with the team. I could never imagine what he went through. I hope to never imagine what he went through. But I mean, him going to the Colts on a 3-year deal, great. He's gonna help that defense tremendously. That dude was a stellar corner. Between him and Demo, they locked it down. Again, hate to see him go, but I really hope that fresh start helps him and his family. So
yeah, same here. And you know, it's not like you just mentioned, it's not like the 49ers and Ward had a bad relationship at the end. It seemed like they had a strong relationship. It's just he needed out, a new change of scenery, new place, new beginning. And, you know, who knows? They might join forces again. He might sign back with the 49ers.
You never know.
You just never know. So, but it sucks to lose him. He's a great talent, but I trust John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan and Robert Saleh to draft a corner. I think they need one. They'll get the right guy.
Yeah, and another one, Talanoa Hufanga.
Yeah.
Stellar safety.
Mm-hmm.
Stellar. Broncos got a steal off this guy. He's definitely going to help them win, which I can't be mad at because, you know, being a fan of Bo Nix, I want to see that guy win as much as I would love to see my team win even more. But it really comes down to it. It's like the Niners could not be aggressive with a lot of these guys because they don't have the funds. They got to pay their quarterback. I mean, you're going to lose a bunch of these guys.
Something's got to give, right?
Yeah.
I'm saying something's got to give.
So him, and then the Broncos also snagged Dre Greenlaw. It's great that these two have, you know, strong chemistry together. They're gonna do wonders for this Broncos defense, and I honestly, it's gonna be fun to watch them, watch the Broncos defense with this one. They're gonna help them tremendously. I mean, these two guys, solid players, for a defense that isn't necessarily the greatest. I don't see them. I don't see the Broncos being, you know, top, you know, 16 defense.
But you think they'll make a
significant difference. They'll make a significant difference. I mean, the Broncos had a playoff run just this last season.
Yeah.
I definitely see them being back. Maybe even better than a wild card game like they had this last season. So,
and our boy Javon Holland, he got paid. He got paid. He's joining up with KT in New York. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that's great. New York is another one of those teams that hasn't really had a stellar defense in a while. They haven't really had a stellar squad in a long time. This is another one of those teams that's still trying to figure out their offense. They're needing to, you know, a quarterback.
Yeah.
I think, you have, you know, one great guy going to this team, but that team needs so much help that I don't even think it's at a point where they just need to scrap, rebuild, and then kind of stick with it. But nobody wants to go play for these teams anymore because they're not contending teams. So him going there, I think it's another thing. It's like the Broncos. Like I don't see them being I don't even see the Giants having a top 20 defense, you know, but a little bit goes a long way. So you start with one, maybe more come. Maybe they draft some solid guys. I don't know. The Giants have been a struggling team for years. Maybe it's just poor management. I don't know.
Well, regardless, I think this is a good signing. Javon Holland is probably one of the top 10 safeties in the league. He's our guy from Oregon. We love him. He was probably one of their, if not their best DB on that 2019-2020 Rose Bowl season with Justin Herbert's last year, right?
Yeah.
The guy is an athletic freak. He can do it all. I'm glad he got the bag, but it sucks that he's in a position where
he probably won't see a ring for a long time there.
But hey, he gets to join up with Kayvon Thibodeau, who I'm hoping has a stellar season.
Yeah.
This upcoming season, but we'll see.
Then you got Myles Garrett, dude who's been like, let me out, get me out, get me out. I'm not signing an extension. Goes and signs one of the biggest extensions at the time.
Mm-hmm.
For to the Browns for six years, can't be traded. 123 guaranteed. Yeah, that's.
Well, Myles Garrett, you won't be winning much in Cleveland there, buddy.
Not with Deshaun Watson.
No, you will not.
Then you got Joey Bosa. He's going to the Bills. I think the Bills are going to be just as scary of a team as they were last. I mean, the Bills have always, in recent years, have had a stellar defense. Their offense, it's great, but they don't always have. I mean, they didn't really have a lot of weapons to throw to last year. You had Keon Coleman. You had Khalil Shakir. James Cook kind of cooked. No pun intended.
Pun intended.
Dawson Knox is pretty solid for a younger end tight end. And Dalton Kincaid. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
They have Dawson Knox too, but Dalton Kincaid. It just helps that Josh Allen, coming off of probably one of his best career seasons. He won the MVP. Being that he is a running back built quarterback, is like he's the size of like the quarterback you want, but he can run the ball like a running back. Like he's not maybe not like a fast running back, but like he can take a hit.
Yeah, he's gonna knock you over.
He can. He's very good at ball security. It's very rare that he fumbles the ball when he scrambles. He's got an arm, so he can get the ball downfield. I just think only thing missing is maybe a couple more weapons on the offense. Get a little
wide receiver.
Get some more wide receivers on there. Not that I don't think Keon Coleman or Khalil Shakir are bad players. It's just that's all. I mean, they had players like Stephon Diggs, they had Gabe Davis and Khalil Shakir. Like now they just have Khalil. I mean, last season we just thought that he was gonna have Khalil Shakir, but Keon Coleman kind of being a rookie stepped up. Helped them get to the AFC Championship game, but.
Man, they could have had Xavier Worthy. You think about that?
Yeah. Well, they also could have had Patrick Mahomes, but they traded those picks away.
I know. I'm talking about this past.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. If they would have drafted, but then they gave it up because they wanted Keon Coleman. I don't know why they allowed the Chiefs to take their pick. I don't know what was going on. It honestly ended up biting them in the ass. I mean, it's kind of how it goes. But no, I definitely think it sucks because there was all this talk about Joey Bosa going to play with his brother Nick in the Bay. But
Money talks, man.
Good signing on the Bills.
Yeah.
Good signing on the Bills.
If he can stay healthy, it's a great pick.
100%. Even if he doesn't play the majority of the reps, he's still gonna boost that defense significantly.
Yeah.
And I think even with you have Von Miller. I don't think he's coming back next season.
Well, he's getting up there in age, so.
He's either retiring or but the dude had a great season. I think you bring in players like Joey Bosa. That defense is not gonna disappoint anytime soon.
No.
They're definitely gonna have a top 10 defense. I'd say top 5 this coming season. My only thing with the Bills is they usually start off pretty solid, and then as the year kind of goes on, it just kind of trickles down. We'll see, though. I definitely think that the Bills got a huge steal when it comes to adding Joey Bosa to their squad. Sucks that he's no longer going to be on the Chargers, but you know what? Like you said, money talks. He wanted a fresh start. Didn't see himself going, or no, he got released. So it's not like he chose to necessarily leave the Chargers. He got released. So we'll see. Max Crosby, dude's getting a bag.
Stay with the Raiders.
Stay with the Raiders. I don't know why you'd want to stay with them.
Again, money talks.
Money talks. And I mean, Max Crosby is probably one of the best defenders in the league.
This is probably Aaron, right?
Huh?
Aaron. What's his name? Guy who played for the Rams.
Aaron Donald.
Aaron Donald. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
He's no longer in the league, man.
I know since.
Yeah. Since Aaron Donald, yeah. I mean, him, Myles Garrett. I mean, they deserve the money. I mean, these guys are not. I mean, they put the work in.
Yeah.
Like they aren't there to mess around. They're there to win.
We're glad he got his bag. We just kind of wish that
it was with a better team.
It was with a better organization.
Yeah.
A championship contending team.
Especially for guys. I mean, they want to win, and the way these other the Browns and the Raiders, they're mediocre teams. Maybe they turn it around with Geno Smith, but dude's a mid quarterback. He's
not going to win you a championship. I don't ever think they got to the playoffs with Geno.
No.
No.
No, they made the wild card, but they played the Niners in the wild card, and guess who won?
They got schmacked.
3 times that season, the Niners beat them.
So Josh Sweat's our next guy to talk about. Who's on from the Eagles, signs a $76.4 million.
41 guaranteed. Cardinals. I hot take here, but I think Cardinals are going to win the conference.
You think so?
I think they're. I mean, you got Marv. You got their tight end. McBride. I think so. I can't remember his name, but he's talented.
Okay.
He's fairly good.
They got James Conner, right?
I don't know.
So you're banking on Kyle Murray having a stellar season, aren't you?
No. I'm just saying, if you look at it, the Rams are very mid. Seahawks are rebuilding at this point.
Okay.
The Niners have lost a lot of key pieces. That kind of just leaves the Cardinals, who they came off of a pretty decent year last year. They didn't win. I mean, they came in second to the Rams, but I mean, if they play just as good as they did last year, I think they're gonna win it. Do I think the Cardinals need to move on from Kyler Murray? Absolutely. I've been saying this for a couple seasons now. The dude is just not who they thought he was going to be. Probably should have just stuck with baseball. He's been nothing but injured, or when he's not injured, it may not be his fault. It may just be the Cardinals were, never the stellar team. But I think it's at this point where either the next season or two, they need to start looking at a new quarterback. Kyler Murray is never going to win them a Super Bowl. I don't think Kyler Murray's ever going to take them to a Super Bowl. But again, hot take is I just think that the Cardinals will win the conference.
So you think you talking about the division?
Sorry, yeah, the division.
The division or the conference?
The division.
So I'm over here thinking like
the division.
There's no way.
There's no way they're gonna win it over the Eagles or the Lions.
Yeah.
I meant the division,
okay.
not the conference. They're gonna win the division. But with that, I mean, you have two teams that are in pretty much rebuild mode or retooling mode, whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
You'd be lucky. I mean, again, I think the Niners will be a wild card to early playoff run team.
Yeah.
I don't see them making the Super Bowl. I don't see them making a conference title appearance this season. I'd love it. Great. If it happens, realistically, I do not see that happening. And so with that, yeah, I think the Cardinals have a strong case with the team they have to making that, playoff appearance. I think them winning the division is not out of the question. Now, if you weren't a rebuilding Seahawks team, if you weren't a rebuilding 49ers team, there's no shot the Cardinals make it in the top, half of the division. Like, they're going to be a bottom feeder division team. They
have been for so long.
They have been. It's just kind of how it is.
But going back to Josh Sweat, that's a good pickup.
I think it's
their defense quite a bit.
Yeah, for a team that really isn't a defensive heavy team, they've struggled. I think that could be a great addition. Kind of going back to what I said about the Giants. You get one guy, maybe more come in, show them what you got. Maybe you have a great season, maybe you don't. It's a good pickup for the Cardinals. Is it a great business decision for Josh Sweat? Probably not. But again, I mean, the Cardinals came off of a pretty good season from what they've been having. So who's to say, this isn't their year for a playoff berth? Just kind of have to wait and see.
So did you want to talk about Dre Greenlaw a little bit more? Or I know we kind of covered that with
yeah.
a little bit.
He signed for 3 years. He's just going to boost that team. Dre Greenlaw is a phenomenal player. He did have a little bit of injuries kind of towards his last couple seasons with the Niners.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, he's probably he was definitely one of the key reasons that the Niners made, Super Bowl. That those two Super Bowl appearances that they had. I mean, the last one where the last couple seasons that the Niners have had prior to this one. So you have the 2022 and then the 2023 seasons. They made both the conference championship. The defense was a huge factor into both of those. Yes, you had stellar offenses as well, but their defenses were phenomenal, and that is the reason they won so many games. the Super Bowl season, I think the Broncos are gonna have no problem defensively this season, especially if both those guys stay healthy. But again, it's just kind of have to see. It's a new environment, new team, culture change.
Yeah.
Denver is way colder than the Bay, so that may have a factor. It may not. I mean, these guys play all over the United States. I mean, at this point, they play all over the world now. So I don't know. I think Denver's gonna have a squad.
Yeah. I mean, if you're teaming up with Hufanga and Patrick Surtain, which I totally forgot about. They have Patrick Surtain, one of the best corners in the league.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
So yeah, they'll have a good defense next year. But what kind of sucks is that Robert Saleh vouched for Dre Greenlaw to come back. He really wanted Greenlaw to come back, and couldn't get it done.
Couldn't get it done, and a lot of it has to do with the fact the Niners just didn't have the competitive funds.
Yeah.
You banked on all these players, and it's finally starting to catch up with you. You just don't have the money. So
sometimes the oil runs out, the well runs out, right?
Yep.
So one last player I want to talk about is Zach Bond, the linebacker for the Eagles.
Okay.
Gets a 3-year, $51 million contract with $34 million guaranteed. I think this is a great signing for them. He's definitely a culture guy, somebody who I think went undrafted, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And was mainly a scout team player, and now was a huge piece of that defense. Zach Bond was. I think this is great. He's got a guy with a chip on his shoulder. I'm really excited for this guy and see where.
Yeah, I mean,
this season.
The Eagles are definitely they haven't made a whole lot of changes to their team so far, especially coming off the Super Bowl. But I mean, you got young guys like Cooper DeJean,
Mitchell, I think.
Yeah, the two DBs that they just drafted.
Yeah.
Phenomenal player. I mean, they showed in the Super Bowl that they are high caliber players. Like, they're gonna have great seasons in Philly. You sign Saquon Barkley to an extension. I'm not gonna get my hopes up on him. Yeah, he had a great year this year. It's a new team, but it's Saquon.
Yeah.
His body's already taken a huge toll when he was in, New York. He's injury prone.
When I think that's why they signed AJ Dillon. You had talked to me about.
Yeah, AJ Dillon. He was the Green Bay running back.
Yeah.
Him as a backup. He's built.
Yeah, dude, he's like 6 foot 250.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be a great piece.
Yeah.
Especially to help with the load management for Saquon, so they can keep him healthy. They can keep him healthier longer during the season. Hopefully, make another deep playoff run, possibly even another Super Bowl appearance. And we'll just kind of have to see how that happens. I don't think that if they just bank on Saquon having all these great seasons like he did last year, it's not realistic.
Yeah. And I think that's what made the partnership between Saquon and Philly so special, is because Philly already had great weapons.
Yeah,
place.
You got AJ Brown, you got Devontae Smith.
You got Jalen Hurts can run the ball.
He could, yeah.
He had a great offensive line, and so it's the same thing with Christian McCaffrey. You take a guy from Carolina and you put him on a contending team with great weapons.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have to be their offense. He doesn't have to run the ball 30 times a game.
No,
it's the same case with Saquon.
Yeah,
and I think this is.
Look at Derrick Henry.
Look at Derrick Henry, right?
The dude was the only piece in Tennessee. He goes to the Ravens, and they even came out and said, "Yeah, we don't need to use him.
Yeah,
but we have him." And when he did run the ball, he was still hard to take down. Like, it was looking like prime Derrick Henry.
Exactly.
But you also got, I mean, like the Ravens, they have Lamar Jackson who can run the ball himself. They have Zay Flowers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can't say they have Mark Andrews because he really wasn't, the biggest help on that team, if I'm being honest. But I mean, you got Isaiah Likely, who did step up when Mark Andrews couldn't catch the ball. I think next season it's going to be great to see like how some of these new additions and players that they've extended. It's going to be interesting to see kind of like how it all pans out. Because do I hope that Saquon Barkley has another phenomenal season? 100%. The dude is incredibly gifted. He had a rough, start to his career being in, New York. But I think him going to Philly and kind of turning that around, finally getting his ring, I think that was great. I mean, look at Christian McCaffrey. He was never going to go very far with, Carolina. He went to San Francisco, balled out. It was like a whole new player. Same thing, Derrick Henry, balled out, whole new player.
Yep.
So it'll just definitely be interesting to see, especially with all these other key players. You got all the Ufunga, Dre Greenlaw, like all of them going to other teams. Joey Bosa going to. It's going to be interesting to see. I honestly kind of excited for this NFL season. I'm very excited to see what happens with the draft and kind of how some of these teams kind of rebound. And I think that we should, when that comes around, we'll definitely go over it.
Yeah.
I think.
I think we'll be following like the free agency more as more news comes out.
It's just kind of at a slow point now.
It is.
It's going to be going all the way through, the very beginning of week 11 in the NFL season. So there's plenty of time.
And so I think what we might do for our next podcast is maybe touch on a little bit of free agency more if there's more news that comes out, and maybe talk about like draft needs for each team.
Yeah.
I think that would be fun to do.
Yeah.
And then maybe like a post draft after the draft is done, but that'll be for next month.
Yeah.
So yeah, we definitely got some exciting stuff to talk about. I know we want to dive more into like recruiting, college football, get into that. We are our Ducks and other teams like that. So yeah, man. It's exciting times. You got anything else to say?
No, I think that pretty much covered it. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.
All right, see you guys. Peace.
See ya.